Yep, you have Mrs. McMurtry with Gently Led Sisters on the phone.
Mrs. McMurtry, my little girl's piano teacher. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for.
We feel horrible, Miss McMurtry. When is your show on every week?
Every week it's on different topics. It's called Gently Led Sisters. We're on at 7 p.m. Central every Monday night. I try to stick to that time just to be consistent. We also do sometimes extra shows throughout the week, but that's the main time. And I try to do topics on homemaking, homeschooling, being a good Christian wife and mother and all that good stuff. So,
well, we're going to have to do it a little later on Mondays, or we'll try to work it out so we can be on different times.
Ken Hovind had it right. We should have just done it at 4.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
Everything would have just worked out fine.
But because of this
daylight
guy,
savings time.
That guy?
That guy.
Yeah. Well, I heard you guys did a plug, so I usually have between about 50 to 70 live viewers, which is decent for a show, with my subscribers, with that many subscribers. So it stayed pretty consistently right around 45 tonight. So I could tell that something had happened. I expected to have like 20.
Wendy was
tonight.
here. Wendy, I'm gonna tell on Wendy. She was here. I don't know if she left your show or.
Well, is there any way we could put in the chat the link to your YouTube page so we can make sure to get people subscribed to that channel?
Absolutely.
Because it's a great channel for people to tune into, especially if they have kids that are in the homeschool.
Right. And I also try to, the main reason that I run the channel is because, a lot of people that have been saved by listening to Pastor Anderson's preaching, my husband's preaching, the other preachers in the movement, they are new to the Christian life, they're new to the Christian walk, and they just don't know where to start. So I like to have subjects, devoted to just training women, training the next generation of Christian women, and kind of following the biblical principle for that. Not like I'm really aged yet, but.
Well, you have 1.86 subscribers. That's pretty good. Subscribers.
Yes, trying to hit 2,000. So
Right.
I want to hit 2,000 in the next few months. So.
Everyone make sure to go to the link in the description and subscribe.
But, yep, we appreciate your show. It's kept things interesting when we're all going stir crazy. So it's been nice to watch the differing opinions and everything throughout the week. So.
Well, I'm excited to hear Ken Hovind's opinion. We have another guy on tomorrow that we're going to have. So we have, hopefully get Ken Hovind back on.
And one thing, Mrs. McMurtry, I think is really important is I've been through a lot of different IFB churches just trying to find something that fit. I was I was just living out remotely, and then we moved to a more populated area. And one of the main reasons is because we wanted to go to a church that was soul winning, but we had that remote area was like in the country, and there was just churches on every corner. So we got to see tons of different churches. But I did notice so many times that there's like the pastor's wife role, and they're usually really bossy ladies, and it's like you see them and they kind of like it's like their husbands are afraid of them, and and so like my wife wasn't attracted to what this woman had to offer. She wanted to be like learning from the pastor's wife, but they've got short hair and they're doing, but it's a really big blessing that that the just the role of a meek Christian woman who's a mother and plays that role that I think it's very important. And you're filling a void for a lot of people out there who go to these other churches and they're not getting it at their churches. And I'm not saying my wife didn't make a lot of connections and wasn't blessed by so many different women in the churches that we visited. But I think it's just a really great thing that you do because she's got something to tune into and to connect with, and we just see how much you're doing there. So I wanted to commend you on that for that reason.
Oh, thanks. No, thank you. I definitely think it's a niche that's not being taken advantage of it. If you search IFB women's channels, there's none that come up. So, I definitely think there is a need for more more videos, just, you know, explaining how to be a good Christian wife and mother and things along those lines. So I do it.
Yeah, and I just want to tell you also that I remember when you just kind of started getting into it and you started the show, it just seemed like you were new to it, and you kind of I just think you've kind of flourished in the whole thing, that you've become really natural and just kind of and I didn't know you
not like this show.
Know you before. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Paul said it's not like this show. It's very natural, very professional.
Yeah.
Not like this show we got going.
I enjoy watching your guys' shows and all the interactions between you. I think it's hilarious. So
yeah, it's like the Three Stooges.
No, I definitely flounder quite a bit, and I mess up my words, and I'm not a very fluent speaker, but I definitely try to improve on that any chance I get. So.
Well, I'm tempted to ask you if you have an opinion. Have you been talking to any of your subs about what you think these women maybe could use to hear? Because we've got women that have not heard of you. So as the pastor's wife, as I guess you were probably brought up in a Christian household and saved at a young age.
Yes.
As a woman and a pastor's wife, what would you say? What's your take on this? Can you give a blessing to our listeners tonight?
What is my take on exactly what? You're very fuzzy, so I'm having a hard time kind of understanding, but what's my exact take on what?
Well, maybe on just the circumstances around the virus and the outbreak and what's been happening with families, just families, and
right.
from a mother's and a wife's and a pastor's wife's point of view. Is there anything that you could just give to our female listeners who could use maybe something that give us a little sample of what Mrs. McMurtry would talk about on this?
Okay, well, I definitely think that, you know, as wives and mothers, our family follows how they watch how we react to different things, and they kind of follow in our example. So one thing I've tried not to do is to promote a spirit of fear regarding this, you know, with my children. Obviously, you know, my son works at Walmart, and I tell him all the time, wash your hands. You know, I almost would be, he's interacting with people on a daily basis. So I'm always like, wash your hands, don't touch your face, you know, stuff like that. But I also don't want them paralyzed by fear, thinking that they can never go outside of our home again, you know, thinking that they need to be afraid all the time. So I think just promoting a sense of peace and calm, and the Lord will be with us through this, and it's going to be okay because we love the Lord. You know, different things like that you can incorporate, and then maybe just try to make the best of the situation, you know, with what you can do. Go outside more, you know, play outside more. Try to find activities that can keep them busy so they're not going crazy inside the house. So that is one thing. And then just, you know, back up what your husband, for my husband being a pastor, you know, back up the decisions he makes when it comes to church matters, and stand behind him, support him. So that would be my biggest advice.
Awesome. That's good, because, yeah, that's important. It's important to demonstrate. And I've kind of mentioned that before, is that, you know, you can't say, hey, don't be afraid, and then at the same time be frantic, right? It's like, I don't want you to be afraid. Right. There's nothing to worry about. But, you know, I'm chewing my nails down. So, Brother Paul.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you calling in and talking to us, and I hope you have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you for all you do.
All right, God bless.
See you too.
All right, let's wrap this up.